What time is it?
Hello everyone, and welcome to the RePsySearch podcast. I am your host, Jason, and this is episode 0. It's the introduction episode where I get to go over everything that we are going to be covering in this podcast. So, what is the podcast? At the moment, I'm not entirely sure, but we'll find out soon together. Ideally, this is going to be a podcast where I'm going to go over different types of research, explain my thoughts on it, explain the premise, what they're trying to study, what their conclusions were. I get to go over research methods, why they chose to do certain things, the different types of ways they could potentially go over their research, and generalize the outcomes of certain research that I've seen. I decided to start this podcast because have you ever heard those people that just say, you should do your own research? You know? We all have those people, and most of the time when they say do your own research, what they really mean is, I've already come to conclusions about certain things and found one specific research article that backs my conclusion, and I'm going to use this to uncritically think and just fully believe this thing that I already believed beforehand, and just use this one piece of research as evidence. So, let's actually take a look at some of that research, because I'm really tired of people saying do your own research. In an ideal sense, that would be great. But actually, no one has time for that. Except researchers and academics. So, just to help for people who don't know how to read through all of the jargon of research papers, and they just want to find the information and potentially see any criticisms about that information, I'm going over this so you don't have to. I should probably give a pretty warranted disclaimer, though. I have absolutely no expertise in the field of psychology. I graduated with a bachelor's in psych and have done a little bit of research experience to actually go through these processes. I have written some, and I've definitely gone over a fair share of research papers before, but in terms of actual expertise, I have basically no accredited expertise, so I'm just a guy on the internet telling you things. Take any of that information as what you will. That being said, I could be wrong, and I probably will be a few times throughout this, which is fine, because if that happens, leave a comment. It'll help the algorithm, and also correct me. As for the types of research I'm going to be going over, it is pretty much anything that I'm going to find relatively interesting. If you have a study that you want me to go over, maybe leave it in a comment on an episode. I will be reading comments for now, but depending on how big this gets, although I'm not sure how big I'm really trying to get the channel, I might potentially stop looking at those. But for the time being, I will definitely read most comments after the videos are going to be put out. But for the most part, it's going to be stuff I find particularly neat, and also maybe some more pop cultural things, maybe something that's talked about in media recently, or something that keeps reoccurring. As for my sources, I'm just going to be picking out a lot of things. Some of them are going to be from publishers that are going to be paid content. Some of them you'll just be able to freely access on the internet. But as for everything that I'm going to be citing, it's all going to be cited in APA 9th edition for the time being, and you can find all of the citations in the description of the video below. I'd also just like to throw it out there. I'm assuming most researchers are going to be okay with having their content out there on the internet on full blast, even if right now this channel is very small. But for whatever reason, if you are a researcher and your research is being used in one of my videos and you don't want it to, or maybe got something wrong, feel free to reach out and I will work with you on whatever we can do to accommodate the needs for what you want to be done with your own research. I'd be happy to help. Just reach out. And as for anyone who would also potentially like to get their research out, I would potentially be happy to collab. You can just send me an email at RePsySearch@gmail.com. One word, no caps. Then I would be happy to work with you. I would also just like to throw out the scheduling for when podcast episodes will be uploaded. I'm going to try to get them out bi-weekly, but this does take a bit of time, considering I don't make any money from this whatsoever, and this is really just a pet project. So going over the research, making notes on it, making some sort of a script, but I use that loosely, and then recording and editing all of this definitely takes a while, and I'm the only person working in this project, so it'll be hopefully uploaded bi-weekly. If it can be done sooner, I might throw out a couple episodes every now and then extra. As for episode length, it's probably going to vary for each different piece of research I'm doing. Some of them are going to be a lot longer and a lot more detailed than others, but this one is by far going to be the shortest, as it's not going over any research, and it is essentially just me rambling about the channel. Well, that is all for now, and I hope to catch you all in episode 1. Have a good one, guys.